Now let me give you an example of some probing questions that you can use that, okay? So help them relive the pain. So let's say a prospect tells you some type of problem, okay? It doesn't matter the industry, they tell you some type of problem. You can go run it, hey, can you give me a specific example of when that actually happened? Or can you give me a specific example of what actually happened? So if they're like, well, last week we had this problem now, let's say you're selling to a company. Last week we had this problem in our company with such and such software. I'm just making something up. So instead of just taking that at surface level, because that's just a surface level answer, how do I get the prospect to open up and relive the pain of those problems and those challenges? This is what I mean by that.
Hey guys, Jeremy Miner here. Look, a lot of you leave comments wanting me to help you sell more. So the easiest way to get a hold of me, the quickest way, is to text me. So text me right now. It's 480-637-2944. So 480-637-2944. Listen, I started this company to help you learn how to close more deals, but do it the right way. Text me right now. Let's get back to the training video.
Hey, can you give me an example of when that actually happened? Oh yeah, just last week and she starts to tell me the problem, more in depth about the problem. She expands on that problem. Not only is she telling me that, who is she telling? She's telling herself that. Now that's just the start. She's starting to relive the pain, okay? Now, depending on what I'm selling, there's gonna be some different context here. I might say, how often is this happening to you guys? Or how long has this been going on? Depending on what you sell, okay? How long has this actually been going on for? Now notice, what type of tone am I using? A concern tone, a tone that shows empathy. Why? Does empathy actually raise trust in their mind, that they feel like you care for them, or lower trust, or they feel like you don't care for them? I think you know the answer. Of course, it raises your trust. It raises trust in their mind that you're actually there for them. You actually care about what's going on. Oh, how often is that actually happening to you guys? See, my tone communicates concern for you, the consequence. Now, also what this does is when they say, oh, this has been going on for the last year or whatever it is, then it reminds themselves of how long the problem has been going on, and they haven't done anything about solving it, okay? Then I could do it a couple of different ways. I could say, so that's been, now instead of saying that, I'm typically going to repeat back whatever the issue is, okay? So let's say if let's give me an example. Let's say if I sold cars, and let's say that, this will be easy. Let's say if I sold cars, and let's say their problem was they have a car that's 10 years old, it's broken down a few times driving to their job, and they've missed some days at work, their boss is really mad, and they feel like if this keeps happening, they might lose their job. So I would ask, oh, so when did you have your last breakdown? Okay, what actually happened? Oh my gosh, we're on the way to work, I was late for this meeting, blah, blah. Okay, how often has this been going on? Well, this is happening twice in the last 3 months, okay? Then I'm gonna say, so this has been going on for the past 6 months. Has that had a impact on you? Oh, you have no idea. Well, in what way though, okay? Now, this is important that you verbal pace this out. I see a lot of salespeople try to do something like this because they try to watch some free content on Instagram or YouTube, and they don't understand the context of how to use these questions, so they mess it up, right? You're going to get basic content on free content compared to like our paid mastery courses. It's like a night and day difference, okay? So notice how I pace this out, because a lot of salespeople are like, that's been going on for the past 6 months. Has that had an impact on you? And monotone voice equals monotone surface level answers. A lot of times like, well, it's not that bad. But notice how I pace it out and how my tone shifts into that concerned tone. Notice what type of an emotion I'm transferring to that prospect. I've already got them emotional here by these last 2 or 3 questions. This is me probing. I'm precision probing, okay? So your car's been breaking down the last 6 months. Has that had besides just your job, has that had a impact on you? Oh my gosh, well, in what way? Notice the verbal pauses. Has that had a impact on you? Notice the verbal pauses. Shows I'm concerned. That triggers the prospect to think deeper about what I'm asking. Okay, do you see how that works, all right? All right, I hope that helped you today. Now, if you have any questions about probing or precision probing or anything, Like I said, best place to reach me, because you can actually ask me questions. I'm going to let you text me. So it's 480-637-2944, okay? Just text me. Myself or one of my sales trainers will get back to you and help you with maybe learning how to probe and take the prospect far below the surface than what you are now. I can assure you, once you start to master this, the emotional connection is times 10. I still remember when I went from my first job, which was selling home security systems door to door while I was in college, selling to consumers, and then I went into B2B enterprise sales, where I'm now cold calling on Fortune 1000 companies to, top 5,000 companies, some SMB as well. I still remember walking in for that interview with the chief sales officer, and he said, you know what, you can't really ask questions here to the prospects. They're very stats, driven. You're talking to the finance department. All they want is stats and figures. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you haven't quite learned yet what questions to ask and how to use your tonality to get the prospect to emotionally open up. Is that what you're saying to me? That's basically what I said to him. It's like, well, just watch what I do. Well, within 3-4 months, I was the #1 salesperson in the entire company. And their sales cycle on average was about 9 months. My sales cycle selling the same thing to the same prospects, same price points, was about 2 to 2.5 months. Big difference. I knew how to trigger emotional drivers. And that's why you're here, to master how to do that as well. Okay? Hope that helped you. Like I said, text us if you have questions and you need additional help.